Alrighty then. Guess what, everybody? It's week 11. Sorry, I'm in Southern California. I'm in between where the Chargers left and went to Los Angeles. I'm parked right in between there. But there are football games to be watched, to be played, to be won. So let's do some recording because I've been asked, hey Ken, where's the video for week 11? How'd you do in week 10? Actually, we did pretty good in week 10. I don't even have the stats in here because I've been running around on vacation so much, but I watched the games in Las Vegas and even put some legal money down on some of those games. And a lot of them won. I think I was like 9-4 or something, or 10-3. I don't know. It was pretty good. A lot of wins, not too many losses, so it was pretty solid. Anyway, the Jets is the only one I liked that didn't win. That's the only one I can say that stunk. But anyway, so let's move on to week 11 here because it's Thursday already, and on the West Coast, it's actually 8:46, not 11:46. So I know you guys are all hankering. Where's the video? Okay, well, let's go over it. Okay, Arizona versus Houston. Actually, do we want to start with the Thursday game? Here's the Thursday game first. Tennessee and Pittsburgh. So Tennessee has been looking nasty, awful. So Pittsburgh really should come through and throw a win down. I like that game. Pittsburgh followed it up last week by coming through and finishing off with a win, even though, you never know with them. But I like that. So if you're looking at tonight's game, your projected score here is what, 22-20? Yeah, I don't know if they're going to put up a ton of points, but they'll probably get 21 points up. So I do like Pittsburgh tonight. As for the rest of the games, we've got Arizona is not favored against Houston. So Houston's got a better offense. Apparently Arizona's defense is better than Houston's. That's a surprise. But I do like Houston in that game. That game is in Houston. I think Houston's still fighting for possible playoff berth, right? So yeah, you should. I like Houston in that game. Atlanta and Seattle. Wow. So Atlanta just smacked around Dallas without Ezekiel Elliott. I hope that isn't a bad pun. And they took out Dallas. I liked Dallas last week. That was another game that I did not win, I believe, in the file. That's kind of a big one, too. Although I didn't have Dallas heavily favored, so I knew it was still kind of a toss-up. Didn't know what to do. But that was interesting to see Atlanta really take them out. So Seattle now is back to playing like the Seattle of old in a lot of ways. So that's going to be a very interesting game. You can see how it's a negative 2%. It's basically a toss-up. It thinks Seattle's going to win, but it doesn't really know. Thinks the score is also going to be 22-20. So, I'd stay away from the game. It's going to be a tough game. I think more of a defensive game. I think you're going to see lower scoring in that game. You never know. Ravens and Packers. So, Packers, yes. Packers won last week, correct? Yeah. I think they did. Right? Here's how we check that. Week 10. Green Bay played Chicago. Green Bay won. Yes, they did. So they did hold up. I think I asked you like Chicago. That's the third game that I didn't win last week. I think we just went over all three. I think I won almost every other game. Yeah, I liked Chicago and Green Bay won last week. So when looking at whether or not you want Green Bay over Baltimore, I can see why that's negative 2%, and that's basically a toss-up. The reason is Baltimore's so iffy with Flacco, and Green Bay doesn't have Rodgers back that Lord knows what's going to happen there. I actually like the over, some craziness going around there, but I wouldn't like either one of those teams strongly. Chargers are favored over Buffalo. No way. I don't believe in that either. I think the Chargers are not a reliable team, and so I wouldn't pick them over Buffalo, although that game is in LA. So you can see only 11% there. All of these games I don't like at all to stay away from. Houston's okay to stick with. Chicago and Detroit. I do like Detroit over Chicago there. I do like that. Chicago is home. Detroit, it's going to be a tough one for them to finally put the nail in the coffin, but Detroit probably is going to win that game. Cincinnati and Denver. All right, so you don't want to really ever back up Cincinnati. They haven't proven to be anything worth staking your claim on the entire year. Denver is also miserable, but this game's in Denver, and so Andy Dalton and his orange hair maybe can't handle low oxygen levels, and perhaps Denver somehow pulls that out. So even though Cincinnati's favored by 14%, I don't like picking Cincinnati in that game. As a matter of fact, I'd probably take Denver. So file says Cincy, but the file said Cincy last week, and they lost to Houston, right? Or Tennessee or somebody. So why would you stick with Cincinnati? I don't like that game. Here's a game I like, Jacksonville over Cleveland. Here's what I like about it. You'd think that Jacksonville is a huge favorite there to beat Cleveland because Cleveland loses every game. Now, Cleveland messed around with Detroit last week. Started having some fun, making things a little scary early on, and then Detroit just rolled over them. There's a potential for that to happen again, but there's also a potential because Jacksonville is a very weird team to predict. Jacksonville lost to the Jets this year already once and cost me almost a pick of the week. I had 2 picks of the week, and that was one of them, and I lost it. So technically I did lose sort of a half pick of the week this year. And I don't trust that team, and Cleveland is going to want it. We're already in Week 11. We've reached double digits in weeks. You think that Cleveland potentially might accidentally win a game. So this is very intriguing in terms of the upset side of this. Because you think Jacksonville is going to win, but in the world of funny business, something tells me this is the week that Cleveland maybe does it. Because if you look at all of Cleveland's weeks, is Cleveland ever going to win a game, or are we going to have an 0-16? Right? Let's find out. Cleveland, all weeks, looks like this. We're already at Jacksonville. Detroit beat them last week. Then it's Cincinnati again. That's a game they can win. The Chargers is actually a game they can win. I don't think they can beat the Packers even without Rodgers. I don't like them beating the Ravens. I don't like them beating the Bears. I don't like them beating the Steelers. So it's either going to happen against the Bengals or the Jags or the Chargers. It's going to be close this week. I would actually take Cleveland with whatever points you're getting given, if you can, because something tells me Jacksonville's not going to roll over them like you'd think. That's all I'm saying. Just because of what I've seen out of Jacksonville this year, and although Jacksonville did, man up this week and take over and win a game. Okay, Dallas is not favored over Philly. Sure, Philly should be favored. Philly should win. I think Philly continues to run out. Dallas is really going to want this game. Dallas is at home. There's a chance, of course, that Dallas really wins because they come out with some heart, but I do like Philly. I don't like Philly as much as I normally like Philly in other weeks. So there's that. Denver and Cincinnati we talked about and how I don't like that game, but I think Denver actually might win. Detroit should beat the Bears. Green Bay supposedly is going to beat Baltimore slightly, but also a game I don't like. Houston should beat their, yes. Jags should beat the Browns, but we'll see. Kansas City and the Giants. That seems like a no-brainer. Kansas City definitely. That might be my lock of the week, but I don't think I'm allowed to choose Kansas City anymore. Am I? I don't. Oh, no, I screwed up. I lost my old picks. I got to go back to old videos. I'm pretty sure I picked Kansas City before, so I can't pick them again. But that's a great game. They're going to beat the Giants. As you can see, the Giants falling apart to San Francisco. Screw the Giants. The Chiefs are going to win. Miami and Tampa Bay. The battle of Hurricane Alleys. Not too many hurricanes in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's favored. I don't know. I don't trust Florida. No one should. So I guess Tampa's going to win, but who knows? Minnesota and the Rams. Now, that's a good game. What is that game? That's a 1 p.m.? That's a tough one to pick. Minnesota is a good team, and they're home, and the Rams can score. I like the over in that game, and I think Minnesota probably wins, but you can't count the Rams out. So look at that. Rams are actually favored. Wow. I think Minnesota's going to win that game. Sorry. I do think Minnesota's going to win that game. But the file says the Rams. So I'm not giving you good. That means stay away from the game when I disagree with the file. Patriots should beat the Raiders. Yes. Patriots are looking like the Patriots of old. And I'm confident in that 49% there. That sounds reasonable. Saints are going to beat the Redskins by 51%. Now, that I don't believe is a 51%er at all. But what's going on there? The Saints are taking on the Skins at home. I think that The Skins are desperate for a win right now. And the Saints have some solid offense, but the Skins have some heart. This game is in New Orleans. Skins sometimes actually play better on the road somehow. So it's definitely not 51%. That's not a lock. No. Surprised the file says that. Listen to the file. I mean, I guess the Saints are going to win, but I'm partial to thinking the Redskins are going to make that a real game, if not win it. I think the Redskins can. It is a complete coin flip to me. I do not call that a 51% favorite for the Saints. Chiefs definitely over the Giants. Pats definitely over the Raiders. We said Philly should win, but probably not a great game. Steelers are going to beat the Titans. Yeah, we talked about that. Seattle, Atlanta, Tampa. That is everybody. Chargers. So, yeah, that's your Week 11. I think this is a pretty interesting week. I think we're going to get also... How many games are there? There are... This week, we have 14 games. I would think that we're going to at least go 10-4 this week based on what I'm seeing. So 10-4 is we're trying to hit. We're trying to do better. Trying to do 11-3. So we'll see how it goes. And we're out.